Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Fox. I am a fifth-year PhD student in computational science at San Diego State University. Today, I'm going to be talking about some of my recent work with Kyle Wendt of Lawrence Livermore National Lab, learning trends in reaction cross-section evaluations using generative machine learning. So nuclear cross-sections are a type of nuclear data. They're related to the probability of a particular reaction on a target nucleus, and in this case, as a function of the energy of incoming particles. These are invaluable for many applications, but also can be plagued by lots of challenges. So on the left here, I've shown the chart of nuclides with the number of neutrons in the nucleus on the horizontal axis, number of protons on the vertical axis. Now, over this nuclear landscape, and also between reaction channels, complex trends exist in cross-sections. That is, as we add or subtract particles from the target nucleus. And these trends are exactly the thing that we're after. Our goal is to construct a machine learning system to learn these trends and then be able to predict cross-sections for any nucleus. The way that we do that is using generative machine learning. So I'm going to be talking about a type of network called a CGAN. That's a convolutional generative adversarial network. Convolutional because cross-sections have multi-scale correlations that we want to learn. And each GAN structure, that's the generative adversarial network, consists of a pair of networks, actually, the generator and the discriminator, shown schematically on the right. The generator makes predictions given an input cross-section, what will it look like if we add or subtract particles from the target nucleus, and the discriminator judges those predictions. Now, both of these are coupled by a loss function, that is, they fight with each other during training and eventually reach a balance. Now, CGANs have found remarkable success in transforming image data between categories, especially in recent years. So I've included a picture in the lower left corner of a picture of a zebra being transformed by one of these CGAN systems into a picture of a horse. And we can adapt this exact same technology to learn multi-scale correlations in nuclear data. So I'll talk about the full predictive system we've constructed. The whole system has a generator for each lattice direction. So up on the lattice adds a proton, right on the lattice adds a neutron, etc., for all 8 directions. Also, each co-inverse pair, that is up and down, for instance, of generators will share a discriminator, and we call these 3 networks together a cycle GAN. So our full system is 4 cycle GANs. That's a total of 12 deep neural networks that are all coupled to each other either through a loss function or through the data set they're trained on. Now, we also implement something called cycle consistency in our predictions. That is, if I add a particle and immediately subtract it, we must have no overall change in the cross-section. So the total loss function for this system is that cycle consistency term, a term for errors in the prediction of the predictions made by the generator, and also terms for competition between generator and discriminator networks. So now I'll move on to talk about some results and applications. We can use the system to predict cross-sections for all nuclei on the chart at this point. And the system has learned general trends, but can also identify breaks in those trends. So from this, we can identify anomalies, that is, cross-sections that deviate from the knowledge of the system, as shown here on this chart in warmer colors, especially noticeable in the lower left corner and the upper right corner. Now, sometimes these anomalies can be explained with physics, and otherwise, researchers should perhaps take a closer look at those data. Another application that's very exciting is predicting what we cannot measure. So some cross-sections cannot be measured due to experimental barriers, like a rapidly decaying nucleus. But those cross-sections are still needed for applications. So future work on this project includes expanding the system to make extrapolations, as illustrated here. So we can predict cross-sections stepwise, one after the other, to predict where we don't have data on the chart. And furthermore, we want to incorporate correlations between different reaction channels to make these predictions even more reliable in the future. So with that, I will end. Thank you very much for listening, and thanks to my collaborators and friends for all their support.